A commercial property is only as good as its cash flow. That's what I'm talking about today. Stick around. Hi, welcome back. My name's Joe Brown. I'm a commercial specialist with Century 21, List with Beggins, located in South Tampa. Thank you so much for being here with me. So several weeks ago, I did a part one of due diligence. And today is part two of due diligence. And I'm going to focus on the financial aspect of properties. So let's remember, first of all, there are different types of commercial property, right? So sometimes people buy a building to use it for themselves. That's an owner-user. And so because of that, some of this information may not apply to you. Some of it might, some of it won't. This is really focused on those people that are buying a commercial property as an investment. So they're renting it out to different tenants. And some properties are single tenant properties, which means there's just one person, right? I can own a building and lease it to a convenience store, and that's all that's there. That's a single tenant. Or I can have a property and there are multiple tenants. I can own a building and there are several tenants inside the building. So number one, you need a detailed rent roll. So let me go back. And this is what I talked about in the first video. The lease drives everything, right? If you ever have questions about, well, can I do this? What about that? It's all in the lease. It should be in the lease. And that's where rent roll comes into play. So the lease will spell out, first of all, what's the monthly rent? Well, what are the CAM charges? How long is the term of the lease? Are there renewal options? So you want to look at the lease roll for each tenant, whether it's single tenant or multiple tenants. You want to look at each rent roll. So that means you need a list of all the tenants and how much space they occupy within that building. Second thing you want to do is not only rent roll, you want to look at each individual lease. Now, there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, as we know, leases can start at any month. And so sometimes leases overlap. So you want to look and create a timeline for yourself of leases and when they expire, when they're supposed to renew, anything like that. I've seen it, but there may be special provisions for each tenant in the lease. So maybe it's after 5 years, the landlord has agreed to waive 1 month's rent or to provide so much money towards tenant improvement, right? Well, I don't know. That's why you have to read each lease, okay? So not only do you need the rent roll, you need to know who all the tenants are, and you need to review each lease for each tenant. The third aspect is you really want to know who the tenants are financially, right? So it does no good if I'm selling you a building and I say, oh, there are 4 tenants and it's 100% leased. Oh, you're excited, 100% leased. But what if tenant number 3 is really struggling and they think they're going to go bankrupt and shutter their business in 2 months? Well, you no longer have a 100% leased property, do you? But what does their lease say, right? Is it in their lease that if they close their business, they no longer have to pay rent? Or is the rent guaranteed? Is there a personal guarantee? Is there a corporate guarantee? right? That's why you need to dig into the lease, but also look at the financial stability of each of the tenants. And another thing, you can create a questionnaire to give to each of the tenants. So it's like, do you have any outstanding disputes with the current landlord? Or is your space usually too cold or too hot? Is there a roof leak in your property? Are there plumbing issues in your space? Right? Are there termites? Have you seen pests? That's a type of questionnaire that you can create just to give you a better sense of the building and whether tenants are taken care of, if they have outstanding disputes, issues like that. For the property itself, you want to take a look at operating statements, right? So I can give you a pro forma, and I can tell you, oh, this is what your income's going to be. This is what your expenses are going to be. Well, you know what? Do your due diligence. Get those reports, not just for the past year. Try and get them for the past 4 or 5 years if possible. And look at those financial statements and look at what the reality is. I was going to say really is, but isn't that what reality really is? Right? But to take a look at the financial statements over the past 4 or 5 years, see that trend. What expenses are going up? What seems out of whack with your expectations? I've talked before in the first video about CAM charges, C-A-M, common area maintenance. So if it's a building with multiple tenants, the landlord may have maybe a janitorial service or a lawn service, somebody to take care of the parking lot. If the building has a lobby, janitorial service takes care of the restrooms and their supplies for the restrooms, right? And so all these custodial fees or maintenance fees are then divided on a prorated basis to the different tenants. That's common area maintenance. Well, take a look at those financials, right? Are the fees being assessed in the proper way? Make sure that you're not overcharging tenants for those fees, right? So take a look at the CAM financials just to make sure they're solid. Take a look at the tax bill for the past couple years. As we all know, taxes tend to go up, but there's a way you can track that and kind of predict where tax fees may go. Also, take a look at the general ledger of all the expenses, insurance, utilities. I talked about common area maintenance. But what you want to see, is there an outlier? Is there something that jumps out that just doesn't seem right that could indicate there may be something wrong with the building? Such as, if the electric has really spiked lately, well, could it have something to do with the AC, air conditioning? So are there issues with air conditioning? And so we need to get somebody out to take a look at the AC system and maintain that. So again, it's all about doing the due diligence, looking at the financials. So again, last video I talked about the leases. Now I'm talking about the financials, getting in, knowing the numbers, truly knowing the numbers, knowing the tenants, understanding the tenants' concerns and what they're paying for, how much space they're using. And if you're a potential buyer of that building, truly understanding the financials, right? And as I started this video with, the basis for a good commercial investment is cash flow. And you want to understand that cash flow. Where are the numbers coming from? Are they made up? Are they based in reality? Right? So listen, if you are thinking about purchasing a building and you want some guidance, please reach out to me. I can certainly refer you to real estate attorneys that can review leases for you. I can refer you to CPAs who can review the numbers for you. I can walk through some of that with you, but it's really best to have the professionals look at it for a deep dive. In the third video, this is a multi-part video, and so third video of due diligence, I'm going to talk more about the contracts and leases, stuff like that. So stick around next month for that. Go to my website, joebrown-commercial.c21.com. You can search for my listings. I have blogs out there, different listings. There's a contact me button. Reach out to me if you have any questions. If you're thinking about buying a building, just want some help, please reach out. Let me see how I can help you. I thank you so much for being with me today. And until next week, take care.